So this is the problem of designing while you build. I've put a couple of these and you can tell that there's just not enough distance between here and there for the trays to go in. So I did all that extra work for the angle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the angle on the bottom, but I'm going to change these and just make it flat and just have everything just run straight down. So I should do this back and forth like a zigzag. It'll just be flat and just kind of drip down, which is like a lot of the ones you see on YouTube anyways. So, okay. So now I've added these front pieces all in, and they are all at 5.5 inches. There's a slight bit of slope because those back ones I did with the original 3% grade. So we're talking about 1/16 of an inch, so not really. I don't really think it's going to do much. And it's just going to have to drip kind of straight down. So that's what we have here. This is what it's looking like now. I'm going to back up a little bit. Next I'm going to add a PVC pipe up at the top there, and that's what's going to drip into the system, or spray water into the system. So I've cut my piece of PVC here. It's 80 inches long. It gives me plenty of extra to work with. And then I'm going to hook PEX to the PVC. Now I've added 2 pieces right here to hold my PVC. Right now I just have it in with 1 screw, and then I also put a screw in right there so that it'll hold this from spinning very much. Right? So I'm going to end up putting holes in this PVC pipe and pipe water in right there using PEX. They'll come from along the wall here, from the faucet that's in the other room. I just put it in with 1 screw here because I don't have all my trays yet. So once I get all my trays, I will put them in and then figure out where exactly I want that. I had an impulsive moment. So I had all these straight across, as you saw, and then I decided that I was wasting room and I wanted to expand it. So I came in and I cut them all in half. And then my wife said that she would rather have 6 across, and the bracing did not work as well as I had hoped to extend it another 4.5 inches. So I ended up putting it all back, and then I put a 2x4 here because they weren't very secure before I cut them in half, and then after I cut them in half they were less secure. And so now it fits 3 across, and it's very strong. This whole thing would have been avoided had I planned ahead. But that's life. Now I'm working on putting a piece of corrugated roofing on the bottom there, so that as the water drips down through the system, it'll land on the corrugated roofing, run down. I'll put some holes in the tub where bend, and then for right now I'll have it shoot that outside. Eventually I would like to get it to circulate and reuse the water for a certain amount of time at least, but right now I don't have a pump strong enough or the desire to spend the money on a pump strong enough to do that. So what I did is I figured out where all of the different legs are going to be, and then I cut 2.5 inches in because that's about what that is. So we're going to line it up there, and then we'll adjust it from there. So this right here is a uniseal, and it's a lot cheaper than a bulk head fitting. So what I did is I took and I drilled a hole in my tub here. Then you just take your uniseal, and I used a paddle bit. Plastic, but it'd be better to use a hole saw. I just didn't have the right size. You just pop it in like that, like so. See? Right there. And then we'll stick the PVC pipe through there, and it'll be nice and tight. Right, so then I move this back. All right, before I move this back, I put this down here. It went down to where my uniseal is. And I made a cross by sticking a permanent marker through right there and crossing it. And then I pulled everything back so I knew about where my hole was going to be. And I chiseled that out. It would have been better to drill, but I didn't really have a long enough mason drill bit. And so I used a little chisel. And there's some cracks, and I haven't looked on the outside yet, but basically everything I've done with this brick, it tends to blow out a little bit on the backside. So I'll have to fix that up with some concrete or something, I'm sure. And I'm going to take my pipe and I'm going to push it in from the outside. And I put a little bevel on the end here, carved in, and took some sandpaper. And that's the part that I'm going to push through the union seal. So I'm going to go push it in from outside. Then I'm going to push it through the union seal. And then we'll be almost ready to test it. All right, so now you can see the pipe sticking through there a little bit. If I pull it back, you see that's what it looks like. Now, when you push it in there and it's hard, don't give up. It takes a little bit of work. It's a lot like giving birth to a pipe. All right, so this is our first test where I just put 2 holes in each piece of PVC or each section of trays. And I'm really only testing half, so there's a lot of splashback over on this side because of that. It seems to be going good. It's running down. The trays aren't filling up with water or anything, but I think that they will better fill up once there's fodder in there, because our previous tests have showed that trays kind of do that. So I'm going to turn it off and we'll see after everything drains how it looks. Alright, so this is our finished system here. I'll go through a couple things that I don't know if I explained. So I put, I drilled a bunch of holes in them. It's a test, we'll see. I might add more holes depending on how it does with the fodder. But there's 2 holes in the PVC for each tray section. I just pull off right now because I just tightened something on it. But so each hole, or 2 holes in there, and we might again add more. We'll see how it runs with actually having fodder in it. We have our fodder sitting right here for tomorrow. There's 18 pounds of grain before we added water, so we're soaking that, and we'll add that to trays in the morning. So basically, it comes in, it runs in. I got an on and off valve here, which allows me to adjust the pressure of what comes out. Because if it's full pressure, it's like a pressure washer coming in on it, and that wouldn't help us. So, but I have a aqua timer here, and it's, I have the ability to set it to, I think it's up to 7 or 8 times. So I have it set to go off every 4 hours, and that's the lowest it'll do. So we'll start there and see how that goes. It runs, yeah. Again, we have our, I don't know if I showed you this before, but we just have right now a heater, and it's hooked up to, I wired in a thermostat. And this timer will go for the aquaponics, but yeah, I wired in the thermostat, and that controls the heat in this little room here. So, thanks.